My name is Logan. I am the third great-grandson of John Lee and Sarah Ann Lever. I'd like to tell you something about their life. This is John and Sarah Ann with their son Clarence. Left Victoria, Australia in 1902 or 1903 with 7 of their 11 children. They made the journey to the Noman's Lake area of Western Australia, where they cleared the land and started farming. The 2 daughters, Madeline and Daisy, who died as infants, did not make the journey. Their son, John James Sidney Lee, and daughter, Sarah Adelaide Lee, had been in Western Australia since 1898. My great-great-grandfather, John, traveled on foot with sons Hugh Rote and Thomas Henry, backpacker style, picking fruit in South Australia along the way. My great-great-great-grandmother, Sarah Ann, and the other children, Edith Maud, Hannah Eliza, William Joseph, Maurice, and Clarence Leslie came by ship. The ships dropped anchor in deep water near Fremantle, and the passengers were rowed ashore in boats. They had to wade the last few yards to dry land.
I'm Kylie, Logan's cousin. I am the third great-granddaughter of John and Sarah Ann. Let me tell you a little bit more about their life. They started farming at Noman's Lake in Western Australia around 1904 on a block of land they named Daisy Hill, possibly after a town in Victoria of the same name. As it was virgin bush, the clearing had to be done by axe. The trees were cut down, left to dry, and burned the following year. Logs were sold to the mill in Narrowden. As funds ran out, the brothers would go to the city to earn money and then return to carry on the clearing of the block. Vegetable gardens were a must, as was a cow, fowls, and pigs. Meat was shared with neighbors as there was no way to keep the meat fresh. Lighting was either by candles, table kerosene lamps, or hurricane lamps.
My name is Macy, Logan and Kylie's cousin. I am also the third great-grandchild of John and Sarah Ann. The story goes on.
Water was another problem the family faced. The water hole had fresh water 8 to 10 feet down. They would lower and raise buckets to fill the tank. They made this water trip every week. The well's water never varied until an earthquake in 1968. The well has been dry since the earthquake. On June 6, 1909, the government was asked for a grant of £100 for materials necessary for the construction of a hall at Noman's Lake. The hall would also be used for a school building. The hall was built using local labor. It is possible that some of the Lee family worked on the hall as they were known builders. The Noman's Lake Hall was opened on December 11, 1912. Following its completion in 1912, the hall became the focal point for the early settlers of the district.
Hi, my name is Margaret, and I am the great-granddaughter of John and Sarah Ann. I'm also the grandmother of Logan, Kylie, and Macy. In 2008, my husband and I, along with my brother and sister-in-law, were able to go to Western Australia and visit Noman's Lake. My second cousin, Alan, arranged for us to visit Noman's Lake, where we were able to see firsthand Daisy Hill. We were also able to visit a place called Young Harry's farm. This farm was apparently intended for Henry or Thomas Henry. He was my grandfather and never lived to farm at Daisy Hill. He was killed in World War I, leaving my grandmother a widow and my father, Maurice, without a father. Maurice was Henry's only child. The visit to Noman's Lake was an event of a lifetime. To visit Australia and walk where our ancestors cleared the land and laid the foundation for what we enjoy now. Alan arranged for us to visit the Noman's Lake Hall, and we had lunch there with many of the Lee relatives from the area. That was a fabulous experience. The 100th anniversary of Noman's Lake Hall was celebrated on October 13, 2012. A monument was constructed with plaques to recognize farmers, farms, time, and contribution to the district. The monument was unveiled during this celebration. This is the plaque on the monument recognizing John, Sarah Ann, and their family for their farming and early settling of Noman's Lake. This is one of the homes that was constructed by the Lee family while settling Noman's Lake. It still remains in the family today.